where Abdiel is describing his encounter with Satan. So Abdiel's origin story is that Satan commands his legions to rebel against the Most High, and only one of that multitude of angels, a seraph, challenges him and rebukes him. And his name is Abdiel, and he leaves the apostate ranks of Satan and joins the warriors who are loyal to the Most High. And then when the battle ensues, it is Abdiel who strikes the first blow, because he sees Satan has surrounded himself with cherubim as if he were God.
Mm.
And this incenses Abdiel, and he goes for him and he strikes him. And so in this conversation between the angel Abdiel and the prophet Elijah, I imagine Elijah asking him about the history of this battle in heaven. And I've got a quote here, because this is what Abdiel says to him. When battle came, the goad of false reproach had so incensed me that I did not see the thick array of troops in my approach to Satan, only his temerity. Into that blow I dealt upon his crest of which you spoke, I poured my love. Yes, love. For love is stronger far than death, and blessed is he who wields it with all power above. And that reminds me too of when Jesus whips the money changers out of the temple, that it is an act of love, because he says, zeal for my Father's house consumes me. It is his love for the Father, it is love for the true temple of God that goads him into cleansing it and purging it of all the filth and the scum and the money changers. And so this is something I talk about in my books, is this prophetic mission. And it is time for us to wield our prophetic authority again. And I refer to Elijah and I refer to Moses as exemplars of speaking truth to power. Now, that phrase of speaking truth to power is used a lot.
Right.
But usually when people say it, what they mean is speaking truth about power to each other. But Elijah wields the truth by getting in power's face. So for instance, this is after King Ahab and Queen Jezebel have conspired to get an innocent man stoned to death. They falsely accuse him, get him stoned to death,
Right.
so that Ahab can take over his vineyard. And this is when Elijah gets up in King Ahab's face and says, because of this, every one of the royal line will be slaughtered. Those who die in the country will be food for the crows. Those who die in the city will be food for the dogs. And Jezebel herself will be dog's meat at the wall of Jezreel. So as you know from reading those books, I've got that scene both in the epic poem Elijah and also in a novella called Jezebel's Lament, where she is telling her side of the story. It's a fun story.
Yes, I really enjoy your stories and the way that they are poetic, and they speak your truths, and they come from your heart and your passion. And I could tell that just I knew it from the first book that I read of yours. And I do go back and reread them.
Well, I'm honored for that. Yeah, because you get through so much material. The fact that you would take that time to go back and reread something I wrote, as opposed to going on to the next book, when you have such a long waiting list of books on your library waiting to be read that authors are sharing with you. So for you to read something twice, that says a lot. Thank you.
You're welcome. And yeah, probably more than twice too. And sometimes it's just, I when I think about what you just talked about, and you're right. Nowadays, people may talk to each other about what they dislike or like about whatever the powers that, you know, that are above
Shouldn't be.
them. Yeah. And the control that they think they have, and they haven't just conquered one thing, they want to conquer the world in a way to make it so it's like their world and not anyone else's. And when I think about that, and I wonder how it is so easy for people to hate or be greedy, or both. They want to rise above people, not to lead, but to control. And there is a difference between leaders and, I should say, dictators, because leaders want to lead and dictators want to have that control. And I find
Jesus gave us the model of the leader, of being a leader, because he said those who humble themselves will be exalted, and it's the servant that he champions. If you want to lead, be a servant. And that's not at all in the mindset of so-called leaders today, is it?